So one of the things as a principal that well, it was very frustrating because I knew that there would be things that would come up and take my day left when I wanted to go right during that day. I knew it was going to happen. There's going to be interruptions. But one of the things that was a little frustrating was when things would come up missing. Phones and AirPods. It would be frustrating, especially when students were not as responsible with those belongings as they should have been. Because I work with high school students, so the expectation is okay. These things they cost hundreds of dollars, so you need to manage this. Leave me out of it. I've got other things to do. So inevitably what happened was there would be times where I'm walking around the hallway with students looking at find my device, yada yada yada, or you could just tell by the look on the face of the student as they're walking with a friend and they're looking at the phone, they're trying to find it. And then there would be those cases inevitably. It was like, Dr. Bird, look, my phone is on the move. It's somewhere over there. Someone's got my phone. I'm mad. I'm not going back to class until I get my stuff. Someone stole my stuff. So in a perfect world, students would just leave that stuff at home. Teachers, I know you're with me. In a perfect world, students would just leave their phones at home. And I tell you what, as a principal, I'm with you. Leave your phone at home, leave your AirPods at home, or if you're gonna bring it, please lock it up or keep track of it. So excuse the rant. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about those things when I came across this story, and I'm going to link to this story on birdlinks.com, and you can see other stories there at birdlinks.com. This story, this is really interesting. This is an interesting one. So we have here a student who was a junior in 2019. Her name is Amara Harris. She says she was a victim of racial discrimination when she received a $100 ticket in 2019 over an alleged theft. And it says here that she was also cleared after a trial. So this is I just find this really fascinating because the story goes like this. So she realized that Amara realized that she was missing her AirPods, and she was sitting in the Learning Commons. That was the last place that she had them. So she backtracks, and then that's where she finds a pair of AirPods, and she assumed that these AirPods were hers. I think that's all reasonable. Okay. Now, it was brought to her attention that the serial number on the AirPods she grabbed matched the number of another student's. She then turned them in. Now, doesn't say how long it was between the time she grabbed them and then she realized that they weren't hers, but she ended up turning them in. Now, 2 weeks later, the police department, they get involved via the school resource officer and gives her a ticket for allegedly stealing the AirPods. And Harris, she refused to pay the fine. Now, what I would love to see here, because I've done these investigations before, what I would love to see here is just how long, what was happening, how long she actually had the AirPods. I think that's fair. That's part of the investigation. That's what you do, so that you can make sure that that students get their due process, right? Make sure that they get their due process. So I think that's an interesting point that is missing. But it says here that when she realized that they weren't hers, she ended up turning them in. Now, could that happen? Could that happen? Is that plausible? Absolutely, for sure. I mean, AirPods cases, if they don't have a special cover on them, yeah, they all kind of, they look the same. So I find it's just very unfortunate that things escalated to this level. And I wonder what was administration's response, because administration, they can step in and say, no, police department, we're not going to be doing this. We know this student. We're vouching for this student. We believe that it's because of that student's character. This student's a junior. You know the student. We believe that it's plausible that, in fact, it did happen. She picked him up, didn't think anything of it, and someone else was looking for their AirPods and brought it to her attention that, quite frankly, hey, it may be possible that those aren't your headphones. Now on the flip side, this is also true. This is what I discovered in doing these investigations. There would be times where a pair of AirPods would be turned into me, and I would see this notification on my phone because my phone was near the AirPods, and it would say, "Hey, you're near some AirPods. These aren't yours." Yada yada yada. And it's possible that this is how it was brought to Amara Harris's attention that these weren't hers. It just doesn't go into that. But what we do know, that there was a legal battle. There was a legal battle. The decision led to nearly 4-year legal battle that ended last year when a jury found her not liable for violating the local ordinance against theft. So, to me, that's that's interesting because this happened in school, and so it's up to administration to do that first, to do that investigation first before they turn it over to the police to really get involved. It's up to administration to kind of let's deal with it. Let's deal with this. Let's get to the bottom of this. And so this is just a really interesting one, and we're going to continue to watch. We're gonna continue to watch this and see what happens, because ultimately Amara is she's filed a $20 million civil rights discrimination lawsuit against the city and 2 members of the police department for racial discrimination. After she was cleared, it was determined by a jury that she was not liable for stealing these AirPods. And lastly, I just want to leave you with this. These are a couple quotes from her. The 20 million, it's not going to erase this. This is what Amara says. She says, "It was just very hard because I was in school with the accusation. It was a shocking surprise to me that took a really huge toll on my mental state. I was angry. I was sad. I felt that I was targeted. Money's not going to clear that. It's not going to make that better. But ultimately, I hope that at the end of this, I hope that Amara is able to find some peace, at the very least, in knowing that her name was cleared by a jury of her peers. And then I hope that the school administration, they're able to learn from this as well, because it appears that it was determined that their investigation was not as thorough as it could have been. Even though, and it just happens, it happens often where you go into an investigation and you're looking one way, but as you get more information, it causes you to take a step back, and it causes you to rethink the conclusion that you've kind of already drawn up here in your mind. So again, this one is interesting. We will continue to watch how this one plays out, and you can learn more over at birdlinks.com. We're going to be following it. birdlinks.com.